I want the following ideas about seduction to cross your mind. See seduction as a largely nonverbal language that you want to become proficient in. 2001 saw the release of my second book, The Art of Seduction, which we are pleased to announce has sold over 1 million copies to date. These kinds of walls have been created around the individuals in your near neighborhood to deter potential intruders, protect them from advertisements, protect them from those attempting to influence their life, and protect them from all the various intrusions that continually divert their attention. The goal of the seduction game is to bring down those barriers and gradually thin them until you locate points of entry that allow you to pass through their defenses and into their minds. The greatest power is knowing that even when you're not around, people are still thinking about you after a meeting or anything. You've penetrated their inner world and their minds, presumably in a pleasant way. And now, even though you're not there, they're thinking about you. People have very thick walls around them and are extremely defensive, especially in the 21st century. They have no interest in a relationship, in you as a person, or in your ideas. The craft of persuasion. Now imagine that seduction is a language. In The Art of Seduction, I try to communicate it to individuals. It is essentially a non-verbal language, and your job is to master it in the same way that you would any other language, like French. You may ask, what language is this? It is the gesture language. It's a language of non-verbal cues and energy that you pick up from other people. As a result, when you entice someone or they entice you, and you're too direct about it, too obvious about what you're up to, and you say all the right kind of platitudes, it just makes people's walls thicker and thicker until they become impenetrable. Isn't that right? But if it's something that's in your energy or attitude, and they don't even understand that you're trying to lure them, then you don't even need to say anything. You have charisma. It's something that comes from your personality and attracts others to you without you ever having to say anything. You don't even need to try. Your own energy, your own brand of self-assurance and inner security that radiates from you, attracts others to you, and is immensely alluring are all parts of that language. You are a rake, a siren, and the embodiment of each of the 9 seduction styles I described there. Because it is a language of gestures. When you take someone on a date or take them somewhere, it matters more what you say and do than where you take them. It's a surprise because it's somewhere they've never gone before and it's different. When you give someone a gift, it's not something obvious like flowers or expensive merchandise. Rather, it's a gesture that demonstrates your consideration for them and your understanding of their spirit. For example, I tell people to listen intently to the other person because they will share things about their likes and dislikes and thus reveal aspects of their personalities. You want to encourage them to talk a lot, but you don't say much at all. And as they share something they love, an epiphany dawns on you. After a few weeks of meeting them, I can offer them a present that symbolizes this specific item they previously expressed, letting them know that I was paying attention and that I realized I had absorbed their idea, their spirit. Wow, this person was truly hearing me. How thoughtful, huh? It's a gesture that communicates without words, and so forth, and so forth. You learn what interests individuals, what piques their curiosity, and what might irritate and repel them as you study various languages. You want to keep things somewhat mysterious because of this. You want to send different messages. They are vaguely aware of your identity, but there's a hint of, you know what they do tomorrow? I can't really forecast, mixed in with, I don't really know this person. You're thinking about them during the procedure. It's a language of presence and absence. There's no mystery when you're in people's faces all the time, whether it's through texting, emailing, or calling. They can't trust you and you're occupying their space. But that's all part of the mating process. If you give them 2 or 3 days without phoning, they could think you're being a little unkind. Don't stress over being unkind. Cruelty is part of seduction. Actually, you have to be a little bit cruel, okay? So you wait a few days, and that's basically, maybe he or she doesn't like me that much. Maybe there's something I said that was wrong, and they start thinking about you, and they start trying to think about what they can do to please you. You've got them, then you've seduced them the moment they're starting to think about you. That's half the game. And if you're constantly in their face, you can't allow that to happen. But if you're too apt, and if 2 weeks go by and you're never there, you're just going to make them angry. You're just going to make them forget you. You're going to think that you're not trustworthy. You have to know the delicate balance between absence and presence, when to be there and when to disappear for a day or two. Right, not to answer their texts right away. Give them a little space to fantasize about you, to think what you might be doing in your absence on and on and on a language of gesture, of behavior, of things that you do, of places that you take them to, about your energy, about when you're there and when you're not there. The level of mystery you can excite people to think about you and be fascinated by you, regardless of anything else. You don't need to be the world's most attractive woman to seduce them. Seduction is a psychological game that involves entering into the minds of others and making them think about you. If you can master that game, you'll be able to seduce almost anyone. That is essentially the art of seduction, as I've outlined in my book.